Hello, everyone. Welcome to Empowered in Heels. We are with a lovely guest today, Laura. She's one of our co-authors of Empowered in Heels 4, which is Strength Equal to Resilience. And we're going to find out more about her. I am going to read a little bio on her just to give you a little details as to what she does. And she has an amazing bio. I know Laura, it's kind of funny because I know Laura from a contest that was running and she won it, and we did a photo shoot together, and we just kind of clicked from there on. We've stuck together for a long time in doing stuff. She's had me do a couple of her empowerment workshops that she does, and she's such a sweet soul, beautiful inside and out. And I'm so happy that she's in this book to see all our journeys together. And I'm getting older, she's getting younger, and I just love where she's going. But Laura is a shining example of resilience and creativity and advocacy in the art and fashion and education industries. From an early age, her entrepreneurship spirit and determined set her apart, even as she faced significant challenges, including learning disabilities, struggling with a gifted designation, and a lack of support from the educational system, battling chronic illness and navigating a dismissive medical system further tested her perseverance. Instead of being defined by these obstacles, Laura used them to drive herself to change. She integrates arts and games into ESL education for neurodivergent students, making learning accessible and engaging through initiatives like Fashion Forward meetups, which I've gone to and I've assisted with clothing when I was designing. I love her drive in that. I love her. Also, she does a lot of model empowerment. We've done some kids workshops with that and supplying the clothing. She is so good with the kids. She's a real champion of diversity, inclusion, and empowerment within the fashion world. Not only that, her philosophy is passion, education, and technology and community. And not only that, her heart. I love the way she thinks and where she's going. Her foundation of change reflects her commitment to transforming and personalizing challenges into meaningful impact, inspiring others to rise above adversity. So knowing Laura how I do, I have to give kudos. And in the book, you'll see photos of a photo shoot that she won for a cover. And honestly, she is such a sweet soul that she's so good with the kids and everything. But I'd like to welcome Laura.
Hello.
Thank you so much for being here, and I'm so proud of you and your story. I just loved it. It was so different from all of the stories, which really impacted me, and being happy to have something so different, and your passion, showing your passion, your true passion throughout all your story. And how young you started as an entrepreneur.
Yeah, I was very young.
I even learned about you. I didn't even know about the sock monkey.
Most people don't. I think you and I are friends on Facebook, so that's what my last name is. That's why it still says Sock Monkey, is because I made it originally as a business account to help sell my sock monkeys to a wider audience.
And that's where I was confused when we were doing the book. I go, do I use this name? Do I use your other name? So we went back
many names, yeah.
Which is good. I always say on the internet, it's good to use secondary names, so not everyone can copy, especially what's happening with so much scams and frauds right now.
Yeah, agreed.
So I'm going to change this up a little because I don't want to go through the same questions throughout all of the interviews. Can I get you? I always get the authors to pick one sentence that kind of describes them and their story. Can I get you to read that to us?
Yeah, definitely. And for those who want to see it, they're all on the first page for all the authors. Very convenient. All right. Through these ventures, I found a way to combine my passion for education and fashion, creating spaces where diversity is celebrated and neurodivergence is seen as a superpower.
Love it. And she does have this huge passion for the moon, and she's going to tell us about her projects that she's doing at the end. So stay tuned. So tell me, what was one thing that impacted you when you were writing your story?
Ooh, when I was writing it, I think I struggled to make a start to finish narrative. I think I've had many tangents, as many creative industry people have in life, where I've gone off and I've done one thing and I've done as much as I wanted to do with it, and then I've kind of abandoned it and I've gone and done something else. But I am very lucky that I have found success in many different areas that all kind of come together to make up this broader philosophy that I have. So I wanted to include all of these things, but I also wanted the story to make sense and to have a very clear beginning, middle, end. So that was challenging, just even thinking about like back in my own timeline. When did this event occur? Was this before this, after this? Um, so I found that to be difficult. I decided to include a little bit about my chronic illness, which I've never really highlighted anywhere publicly. I would say maybe like on the occasional Instagram post or like sharing someone else's story about something I could relate to. So that was maybe more of the mental challenge, was trying to figure out how to articulate that without sounding like I was a victim. I think that's something I try to avoid. Try to make sure other people in that situation felt it was clear and accurate to the chronic illness itself, as well as giving them hope for what could be their future.
I didn't even know that. So when I read your story, I said, "Wow, I kind of, you look so strong." And
Yeah.
it's like myself, I try to portray it strong and stuff like that, but inside we don't know what's happening,
Yeah.
right? So that's
Yeah.
where I was kind of impacted. And I loved how you turned it around, and how you influence others, and helping them understand that, because you went through a disability part in learning, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And you are an ESL, is it a teacher that you?
Yeah, I'm an ESL teacher now. So I'm a gifted LD. So I'm gifted in math, science, and logical reasoning, but I had a reading disability.
Mhm.
So reading is like in all the subjects, even if you are really gifted in math and science, if you're faced with a problem where you have to read it, it's like, oh, I don't know what's going on.
Did you find it hard writing a story, writing your story because
A
of it?
little bit, yeah. I think I have found ways to kind of get over the reading disability as I get older. I don't think I ever really fully got over it until I became an ESL teacher, actually, um, because there were certain ways of learning that I just wasn't aware of. And when I was doing the ESL, I was like, oh my God, that's what they were trying to tell me for like 10 years. And it just didn't, I did not get it. And then when I'm teaching the kids now, when they don't get the typical way, I'm like, okay, well, let's try this way instead. And then, most of the time, the kids that I teach are also neurodivergent, so then they get it. Um, yeah.
Well, yeah, I think everyone has learning style, and
Mhm.
everyone has to learn how they learn, right?
Yeah.
And I tell that to my kids because my two boys have learning disability. My
Mhm.
eldest one has a memory. It didn't go to his memory. It'd have to be like read the book 3 times so it goes
Yep.
into that
Retention,
memory
yeah.
phase, right? And then my little one, oh my gosh, yeah, yeah. But I tell them, but you know what? I remember in high school, there was one teacher and they said, "Oh, I don't think your son's going to be going into college." And I said, "You know what, Austin, I'm pretty sure if you put your mind to it, you can accomplish anything." And
Yeah.
he did. He graduated college and he proved
Amazing.
that teacher wrong, and he
Good for
became a
him.
professional, and he's such a go-getter. Like, he takes after me. The little one's still getting there. Like, he doesn't understand and he doesn't push himself as much, and I find
Mhm.
this generation like that. They give up really fast.
Yeah.
Hopefully he'll get over it. He's 15.
Oh, yeah, I
Let's
hope so. A lot of it is the school systems too. They're just very quick to leave people behind, I found. And that was quite surprising in a lot of ways, I guess, going through like Toronto school system is supposed to be like one of the best in the world, and here I was and nobody helped me figure it out.
Yeah,
But
they push it on. They push you through, and he's now in grade 9. So
mhm,
reading level is maybe a grade 5, 6, which is kind
yeah,
of sad. And it gets harder and harder, right? So they just push you along, and they should find out ways that even if they did summer school or did something else to kick them above. But yeah, they wash their hands a lot in the education system here. It
yeah,
doesn't take a lot of credit. So,
yeah.
so what inspired you to do your story in Empowered in Heels?
Actually, it was you. So I don't really share like a big version of my story. I've never really done it. And I remember you told me that like, hey, this was the issue. This was the book. It had to be this one. I was like, oh, I don't know if people would want to read it. And you were like, well, I'm interested to learn more about you. And I was like, okay, well, if Susie's interested, maybe other people will be too.
Yes, and I'm so glad because when I met you, we did the cover. You won the cover issue, and you were going through a big phase there. And I'm glad you incorporated this in your story. And this is why I wanted you to write about it. It was about cyberbullying, right?
Mhm.
It was a big issue, and it's still a big issue throughout. You'll see it in high schools and whatsoever with our everyone.
Yeah,
Yeah, so I really love that you incorporated that, and you incorporated your entrepreneurship with the sock monkey, which I
yeah,
couldn't understand why the sock monkey last name on Facebook.
yeah,
But then when I read your story, I found it, wow, she was astonished. She started this as young, right?
yeah,
Um, and then from there, I found out about the other stuff that you did. So I loved your story. It was really inspiring to see all your facets of life and how
hmm
you put it together. And with the fashion forward and how you empower girls, because women that come, they're not all models, and you help them to get to be models. And I've seen them
yeah.
on the runway today. So
Yeah, we have had
accomplishment.
many alumni shoot for the stars. We had 4 or 5 people do New York Fashion Week last season. I
Yeah.
coached them all through it, so it was really exciting to see.
Yeah, I love that. I love how women can empower other women and
Yeah,
other girls, right? And that was something that I've been doing throughout my years, and I'm glad that a younger generation can do it too.
yeah. I
And
think when we met, that's like where we aligned with the win together mentality. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. And I love what you're doing. You do it with girls too. So you do a lot of workshop for kids and empowering them there. And
hmm
that I always say, like, a lot of people have that stigma that modeling is not good for the kids, but it's not. Don't look at it as modeling. It helps so much in
yeah.
confidence. It's the same thing
Self-expression.
with like girls, the teenagers. It helps so much with confidence. Once you do one runway, they get this confidence. They walk straighter. They put their heads up
Yeah,
higher. Yeah, so I love seeing that, and I see that you love doing that too,
yeah.
which
Me too.
aligns a lot. Yeah. So
Yeah.
tell us, was there a defining moment in your journey that shifted your perspectives and gave you resilience and strength?
Um, I think circling back to maybe the education system a little bit. I had teachers tell me like girls can't be gifted, and living in the modern age in a developed country, I was kind of like, what? Like I was just so surprised that there was someone an authority figure who had the power to influence and alter someone's trajectory saying that. And like I wish it was just that one. The first time it happened, I was like mind blown, but the second time I was like, I'm not even phased by this because it's happened before. And then it just kept happening. I had teachers tell me I can't do things. Like I had an art teacher who told me my art was not art. I had struggled to even stay in the program at the specialized art school that I was in because of this teacher. And I think I just sort of learned quite quickly and at a very unfortunately young age that uh, people in positions of power are usually wrong. Not always right, and their opinions don't actually matter in the real world. Um, I think that was probably the biggest thing because I had to learn because I was trying to like prove these teachers wrong. I was like, okay, I'm gonna prove to this math teacher that girls can be gifted in math, and I couldn't change his opinion. I was winning like math competition after math competition, and he was like, impossible, impossible. Or like the art teacher, I had my work in like galleries in New York when I was 13. Like I was winning these gold medal awards, these prestigious awards, and he was like, no, your art isn't art. And I'm like, well, I no longer care what you think because now I have all these other things that are actually going to be able to propel me, and what my grade 6 teacher thinks doesn't actually matter. So I think that was kind of a big challenge, and I think because you spend so much time with your teachers, like you spend a whole year with them, I think a lot of kids have trouble like separating school from reality sometimes. And I think I was lucky that I was unfortunately forced to figure that out quite quickly.
Yeah.
Um,
I think it also influenced your support system. Did you have your parents that said, you know what, Laura, don't listen to this teacher. You can do it.
yeah, my parents
You
were
know,
like, yeah, it's, you know,
ignore,
they
ignore
a
that
lot of
teacher.
them they were like, just get through it. Like, it's 1 year, get through it. And the next year they were like, oh no, it's another year. Well, just get through it. And then by like year 3 or 4, I like wanted to start skipping school to just go to work. And my dad was like, yep, yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Yeah, you should just do that. As long as your marks are good and just do whatever you need to do. Um,
Yeah.
yeah.
So having a good support system um, helps. And friendship. How was it with friends? Did you have like that support system with friendships?
I would think I've been lucky that I've found, I wouldn't say too many people, but a very small, tight knit inner circle. I definitely always had like a best friend all through school up until probably university. I made friends, but like they weren't the same type of friend in university, mostly because I wasn't there because I was sick. But yeah, I think I've always had one or two. I think the masses I'm usually against, but the small knit group is what matters.
Love it. So, what challenges did you see that you had writing your story, and what tip can you give to our writers and any future writers?
Future writers, definitely don't just start typing. Uh, don't think, okay, I'm gonna start at the beginning and then I'm gonna write the middle and I'm gonna write the end. It's gonna be fine, because that's like not what happens. That's what I thought was gonna happen, and I realized that actually like sitting down and kind of making like jot notes of what you want to cover makes a lot of sense, and then kind of seeing like what your overall message is going to be, like that one sentence that Susie said, to figure out what that one sentence is before you actually write the whole thing. Because I found that there was actually a lot of stuff that I had initially had in there that upon a second read I was like, this doesn't really add anything to the point. So I took it out, even though it was like something cool that maybe I like about myself that would be maybe worth sharing like in a group of friends, or if I was getting to know someone personally, but maybe not worth putting in the book.
Yeah. And I always say to the authors to kind of do it light and positive so that you're going to empower. So someone picks up that book, you can empower them and say, wow, I read your story, Laura. And you know what? I was going through the same issues as you, and you actually made me feel that I can do this,
Yeah.
and that's what I really wanted this book to be about. So can you give someone one piece of advice that you went through and struggled with, and they can use for their struggles that they're going through?
As a writer or as a person?
As a writer or as a person, both. I'm going to put you on
Right.
the spot.
I think for the writing, I guess getting the emotional aspect to come out, as you said, is like not easy. So I think thinking of it as like problem, cause, solution is kind of a good structure that I sort of took for like each. My story is broken into like segments. Each segment of the story kind of has, this is the issue, this is why the issue happened, here's how I fixed it. And I think if you just have problem and cause and you don't really offer a solution, it's not as empowering or strengthening for the person reading it, because they're like, oh great, this other person has this problem and they haven't figured it out either, and it actually makes them more stressed, even if you use beautiful language to describe how much better life is now for you. um, and personally, can you actually tell me the question one more time?
So, yeah, so it said give one piece of advice to someone facing a similar struggle. What would it be?
Well, I put a lot of different struggles in that book. I guess like one that I think is really important, don't let a medical system dismiss you, like ever. Just if that is what is happening to you, find a way to solve the problem yourself. Self-diagnose, take that diagnosis to as many doctors as you can until someone listens to you, because your health is number one. If you don't have your health, you really have nothing.
I agree. Get second opinions. Go
Yeah,
with your gut. Honestly, I think if you listen to the doctor, sometimes they don't really understand what you're feeling inside. Or if you're feeling a pain and they say, "Oh, it's nothing," check it out. Like,
yeah,
let's see, you're feeling that pain for a reason. It's not
yeah,
that you have it in your mind. You need to find out why you're feeling that pain. And a lot of times they'll do the ultrasound or whatsoever, and they say, "Oh, it's nothing. We didn't see anything." But go with another
yeah.
specialist and check with other systems, right? The naturopathic ways or whatsoever.
And
Um,
even challenging the diagnoses or treatments. Like I've had doctors who say like, okay, here's like the prescription, take 2 pills a day. And I look at it and I know myself, I'm so sensitive to medication. And I just go, okay, I'll take one. And they go, but you're supposed to take two. I'm like, that's nice. I will take one. We'll see how that goes for a little while. And like I've had even one pill be too much, and I've ended up on like specialized doses of like smaller amounts of medication. Um, so like don't be afraid to say no to something that you know is not good for you.
mhm, yeah. Sometimes medication does other flaws to your body and other factors. And if you're feeling that it's not working out, it's for a reason. I think our body talks to us, right?
Yeah.
Um, we don't want to bash any doctors out there, but
There are some good ones. There are some good ones. Yeah.
there are. Just find
There's,
that great, that
there's
good
so
one
much,
that cares.
yeah.
Yeah.
There's also so much pressure on the medical system in Toronto. Like I've had friends tell me like, "Oh, I went to Emerge and I had to wait 12 hours." And I'm like, "You waited 12 hours? Oh, you're so lucky. It means you weren't dying." I've been there where I waited 0 hours. It was seconds. So I do think that they do have to do a lot of work. And sometimes it's just too much.
Yeah.
Patients, not enough time, all of those things. There's many factors why a medical system can let you down. It's not always the doctor.
Okay, so here's another question for you.
Yeah.
How has your personal journey shaped the way you empower and uplift others today?
Um, I think I've been through a variety of, I would say, unfortunate incidences that I think give every excuse to not be in a good position right now. Like I could blame like the teachers for letting me down and not educating me properly, but I still turned out to be a relatively intelligent, well-educated individual. I could blame a health incident for making it so I can't work, but I'm running. I'm like you, Susie. I'm running every business there is to run. Um,
Yeah,
so
do it while you're young.
it's true. It's true. So
You
I
go,
think
girl. Hmm.
not letting not letting something be an excuse for not living the life that you deserve is the big one.
I think you're actually giving a great example by going through that learning disability part and helping others and understanding what you went through and helping other kids that are going through
Yeah.
it today and finding ways for them to learn. I love learning.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's so frustrating for them, so they want to give up. And I think that generations here, that the younger generations are like that. They just give up so fast. And if you really push yourself, you can accomplish anything, right? It's like any business owner. If you really put your 100% and focus into any business, it can be successful.
Yeah.
Just it is work. If nothing comes easy, you can
Yeah.
read as many books that they'll become millionaires in one day. No, it's hard work. And having a business is even more work because you're hands on 24/7. And
Yeah.
sometimes you can delegate, but sometimes you may delegate it to the wrong person and
And then
they
it's
take your
double the
ideas
workload.
or they take your ideas and swing with it and
That's true. Yeah.
there's so many copycats out there, right? So and then they forget where they start, right? So okay, we have 5 minutes.
Okay.
So tell me, how was it? How did it feel when you picked up that book and you got it in the mail?
Oh, it's pretty cool. Pretty cool. I liked my favorite part of it was Actually, no, it's on the back. Actually, I liked seeing everybody together. I thought that was really nice. And like some of these people I know, like I don't know them personally, but I know of them. Like I know Tiffany, I know Lily. So I was like, oh wow, these are people that like I have watched from afar and kind of seen that. So it felt really good to see all these great people coming together.
Yeah. And I think the other thing I like about the book is that I put breaks in between. So if you're reading a story and maybe it's really heavy, you'll have like an affirmation in it to give
Yeah,
you another light so you're not
little
going in. Yeah, going into it. And then you have pictures of true stories of your life in there.
mhm.
So I don't see too many books do that, which is kind of cute. It gives you kind of that connection with the writer,
Yeah.
with your business. I love the sock monkey there. And I want you to tell us about this moon thing. You have 3 minutes.
All right, 3 minutes. So in the end of 2024, I won a contest with IC Mercury and LifeShip to send my art to the moon, and that was super exciting.
And it's in the book, right?
Yeah, it's in the book. I think we didn't get the story of that in the book because it happened post the book, but I think
I
the
think the picture, I got you to send it for the beginning of your story, I think.
so yeah, you told me at like the last second. You were like,
Yeah, send it to, yeah, it was last
maybe you're
minute.
not supposed to submit anymore, but make sure you send that picture over. So it's at the beginning
Yeah,
with the magazine cover there.
yeah.
And so that's been really fun, and I've kind of become a little bit part of the community around it. The CEO of LifeShip is amazing. Ben is awesome. And just going and hearing what other people are doing, what they're sending to space was really cool. Um, so Ben was saying that they were looking for things to like monetize and sort of help get some sort of like revenue stream happening with everything that's going on here with sending stuff to the moon and sending Earth culture to the moon. I was like, well, I mean, I've got all these kids that I work with, and I am an ESL teacher. I run ESL programs about space. Like, why don't I make one that is a LifeShip ESL class that kids can take? Both, we have one for native and one for ESL kids, so we've got both happening. And then they can learn how to make some cool art, and we can put that all together. We can make a children's book and send the art to the moon. So it's going to be etched into infinity, as Ben would say, because they would put it on this little plaque, this little metal plaque that's going to last a billion years. So it's called moonart.kids is the website. And if you're between ages 6 to 14, or like in that range, if you're 5 and you really want to do it, or if you're 15 you really want to do it, you totally can. Yeah, and that's
Is
what
there a limit as to how many art they can send up there, or?
we haven't set a limit just yet.
Oh
So
my God. Okay.
we're gonna keep
So
going for the limit.
anyone hearing this, get involved. We're going to do a feature in you in this fashion magazine because I love this concept.
Sounds good.
Getting the word out to, get everyone involved. Maybe I can send a magazine up there.
We do have a sponsorship program if you want to send.
Well, I'm sponsoring writing an article. Yeah. So, anyways, I'd love to get you to write something and bring it in. So, see if we can get other people involved. This is a great concept, and I love your energy. Keep it up, girl. I'm so proud of you. I just love seeing young generations really pushing it. And you are a go-getter, and I just love your soul and your heart, which is the most important, because you could be beautiful outside, but if you don't have a good heart, what's the point, right? So you're really making a difference. Yes, so a big heart to you, girl.
Card back to you, yes.
I love what you're doing with the kids that you're working with, and just this concept about the moon. I love it. So let's do it. Let's get you in biz fashion. Thank you so much, everyone. Get the book, find out about Laura. Her story is astonishing. It's really empowering. Any generation can read it. So from young to older.
Susie? Hello?